Run a private AI assistant on your laptop, then switch off Wi-Fi and watch it keep answering. Let's begin with what you are building. A private, ChatGPT-style assistant can run directly on your laptop, even after you disconnect from the internet. You will type into a polished browser interface, but the language model will answer through Ollama on your own machine. We will install one small model, connect it to Open WebUI, and verify that the response is truly local. The first setup takes longer mainly because the model and container files must download once. After that, starting a local chat normally takes only a few clicks. This is not the actual ChatGPT service, it is a similar chat experience powered by an open model you select. By the end, you will also know which model size suits your laptop and what private really means. That sets up the two-part setup. Ollama is the model runtime. It downloads a model, loads it into memory, and generates each answer. Open WebUI is the interface. It provides chat history, model selection, settings, and a familiar browser experience. Your browser sends the prompt to Open WebUI on localhost. Open WebUI forwards that prompt to Ollama through its local API on port 11434. Ollama runs the selected model and streams generated tokens back through the same path. No Cloud AI account or API key is required for this local workflow. Think of Ollama as the engine and Open WebUI as the dashboard. With the two-part setup in mind, the next piece is check your laptop first. Before installing anything, check 3 resources: free disk space, system memory, and available GPU memory. A small 2B model is the safest tutorial choice for an 8GB laptop, although speed still depends on the processor and other open apps. A 4B model usually gives stronger answers but needs more memory and storage. Models around 8B or 9B are better suited to machines with more headroom, commonly 16GB of system memory or a capable GPU. Model files can consume several gigabytes, so keep at least 10GB free for this tutorial and future experiments. Close memory-heavy applications if the laptop starts swapping or answering very slowly. The useful rule is simple: start small, measure the experience, and move up one model size at a time. That idea leads directly to install Ollama. On Windows or macOS, open the official Ollama download page and use the installer for your operating system. Windows users need Windows 10 version 22H2 or newer. The installer adds the Ollama command and runs the service in the background. On macOS, drag Ollama into Applications and start it. Current official requirements list macOS Sonoma or newer. Linux users can run the official install script shown on screen. Avoid third-party download sites because the runtime will execute models and expose a local API on your computer. When the installation finishes, open PowerShell, Terminal, or your Linux shell. The first check is not a model download, it is simply confirming that the command exists. Once install Ollama is clear, verify the local runtime becomes much easier to understand. Run Ollama V and look for an Ollama version instead of a command not found message. Next, open http://localhost 11434 in your browser. A short response indicating Ollama is running confirms that the local service is reachable. If the command works but the address does not, start the Ollama application or run Ollama serve on Linux. Port 11434 is the connection point Open WebUI will use later. You do not need to expose this port to the internet, change router settings, or create a public tunnel. Once both checks pass, the engine is ready for a model. From there, the next practical step is download and run the first model. Run Ollama run Quen 3.5:2b to download the tutorial model and start an interactive chat. The 2b tag identifies a relatively small model variant, making it a practical first test on an ordinary laptop. The initial run displays download progress, later runs reuse the model stored on your machine. When the prompt appears, ask, explain local AI in 3 simple bullet points. The answer is generated by the local model, not by ChatGPT or a paid cloud API. Type /by to leave the terminal chat without deleting the model. At this point the AI works. The next step replaces the terminal with a polished browser interface. This sets up the next important point: inspect what Ollama is running. Ollama list shows which models are stored locally, including their approximate file sizes. Ollama PS shows a model currently loaded in memory and whether it is using the CPU, GPU, or a mixture. If the model disappears from Ollama PS after being idle, that is normal. Ollama can unload it to release memory. Run the model again whenever you want to chat from the terminal. To remove a model you no longer need, use Ollama RM followed by the exact model name. Removing a model frees its storage but does not uninstall Ollama. These three commands, list, process status, and remove, are enough for beginner model management. These three commands, list, process status, and remove, are enough for beginner model management. That sets up Install Docker Desktop. Open WebUI can be installed in several ways, but its documentation recommends Docker for most users. Docker runs the interface in an isolated container, avoiding a long list of manual Python dependencies. Install Docker Desktop on Windows or macOS, or Docker Engine on Linux, using the official Docker instructions. Start Docker and wait until its engine reports that it is running. Verify it with Docker version. This confirms the command is available, not that Open WebUI is installed yet. On company-managed laptops, Docker may be restricted, so check your organization's policy before installation. With Docker ready, Open WebUI requires one command and one local address. With Install Docker Desktop in mind, the next piece is Start Open WebUI. Run the Docker command shown on screen to start Open WebUI in the background. Port mapping 3000:8080 makes the interface available at http://localhost 3000. The named volume Open WebUI preserves accounts, settings, and chat data when the container restarts. The host entry lets the container find Ollama running on the laptop rather than looking inside itself. Restart always brings the interface back after Docker restarts. The first run downloads the Open WebUI image, so it may take a few minutes even though the command itself is immediate. A container ID means Docker accepted the request. The browser is the final verification. That ID leads directly to open the browser interface. Visit http://localhost 3000. Do not search for that address because it exists only on your machine. Create the first local Open WebUI account when prompted. That first account becomes the administrator for this local installation, so use a password you can remember. Your account is stored in the local Docker volume. This step does not create a ChatGPT account. Open the model selector and choose Qwen 3.5:2b. If the model appears, Open WebUI has successfully reached Ollama. You now have the complete path: browser, local interface, local runtime, and local model. Once open the browser interface is clear, prove the chat works locally becomes much easier to understand. Ask the same 3-bullet question used in the terminal and watch the response stream into the browser. Then switch off Wi-Fi and send a second prompt such as, write a 4-line poem about offline computing. A successful answer confirms that Inference works without an internet connection after all required files are downloaded. You can also open another terminal and run Ollama PS while the answer is generating. The active model and processor split provide a second piece of evidence that Ollama is doing the work. Reconnect before following web links or downloading another model. Offline inference does not make the model's knowledge current. The result is a local assistant, but its answer quality still depends on the selected model. From there, the next practical step is choose the right beginner model. Model size is a trade-off between speed, memory use, download size, and answer quality. For 8GB laptops, start around 1B to 3B parameters. Qwen 3.5:2b is the tutorial default. With roughly 16GB of system memory, try a 4B model first, then an 8B or 9B model only if the machine remains responsive. Larger memory machines can explore 12B, 14B, or higher, but model architecture and quantization also affect real usage. For general chat, compare a small Qwen or Gemma variant. For code, test a coding-focused model rather than assuming the biggest name is best. Use the same 5 prompts for every candidate and compare correctness, response speed, and memory pressure. Choose the smallest model that meets your task, not the largest model your laptop can barely load. This sets up the next important point: fix the 3 most common problems. If Ollama is not recognized, restart the terminal after installation and confirm the application is running. If Open WebUI opens but shows no models, verify http://localhost 11434 first. From a container, localhost points to the container itself. The host address is normally http://host.docker.internal 11434. Recreate the container with the host mapping from our command if that name is unavailable. If responses are extremely slow, close other apps and move to a smaller model before changing advanced settings. If port 3000 is already used, map another host port, such as 3001:8080, and open localhost 3001. Debug one layer at a time: Ollama, model, Docker container, connection, then browser. Debug one layer at a time: Ollama, model, Docker container, connection, then browser. That sets up understand privacy and limitations. Local inference means the prompt and generated answer can stay on your machine when you use only a local Ollama model. It does not automatically make every feature private. Cloud model connections, web search, remote tools, or external APIs can transmit data. Open WebUI chat history and settings persist in the Docker volume, so anyone with access to your computer or backup may access them. Open models can be inaccurate, biased, or confidently wrong, especially small models used outside their strengths. Laptop inference may be slower than a cloud service and can increase heat, fan noise, battery use, and memory pressure. Check the license and intended use of every model before using its output commercially. Treat local as an architecture choice you can verify, not a blanket guarantee attached to the interface. With understand privacy and limitations in mind, the next piece is your local AI starting point. You installed Ollama, ran a model from the terminal, and connected that runtime to Open WebUI. The browser interface now provides a ChatGPT-style experience without requiring a paid AI API. You also verified the setup through the local API, an offline prompt, and Ollama PS start with a small model, test it against your own tasks, and increase size only when the improvement justifies the resources. Keep sensitive data away from cloud connections and external tools unless you deliberately approve that path. The next useful project is local RAG. Add an embedding model and let the assistant search selected private documents before answering. This same local foundation can become a study assistant, coding helper, or private document chatbot. To wrap up, here is the key takeaway. You now have a structured overview of Run AI locally on your laptop in 5 minutes, Ollama plus Open WebUI. Review the core ideas, connect them to examples, and revisit concepts like what you are building, the 2-part setup. Check your laptop first when practicing. Subscribe to Easy Machine Learning Guide if you want to learn AI through simple explanations and real industry examples.